It doesn't require thousands of hours of practice. All it requires is that you master the skills of eliminating variables in your swing. And those skills are like 3 things. Does that make it the easiest swing ever? Because these 3 things end up becoming one thing. Watch this. One of the things that seems impossible in golf is this idea that you can be consistent week to week without a whole lot of practice. I mean, you can strike that ball beautifully without doing much range time. I'm here to tell you that this can be a reality. See, I spent most of my life as a touring musician and a golf instructor. Golf instructor during the day, touring musician at night. I didn't have a whole lot of time to practice or play. I had to keep my swing in shape while still working all the time. And thankfully, I found a swing that wouldn't allow me to screw up as badly. It's like the screw-up-free swing. I call it the zero timing swing. And today we're going to look at how you can have a swing that doesn't rely on variables. We'll look at eliminating variables so that you can take that 3-week cruise and immediately go back to striping the ball just like you did before you left. This is especially helpful for those of you who are coming out of the off season too. So I haven't hit a ball. You know how I do this. I don't hit any balls to start my video sessions. So no practice swings, just a little bit of stretching. Let's see what happens here. I've got my setup. I'm just gonna take a swing. I mean, this happened last time too. Get over it, and then the gunshot. Pureed ball striking. That's like Italian sauce right there. Oh, spicy meatball. Now, what in the world did I do to stripe that ball? Well, I built a swing that eliminated variables. We have to start our ball striking journey around contact first. After we build in contact, we're gonna get tons of power. And after we do that, we're gonna control where the ball goes. First thing, we have to get the lead arm straight. The lead arm must be straight because it controls a lot of your contact point. So if I just have my lead arm straight like this, and I make swings with it back and forth without shifting, the club comes into the ground the same spot every single time. So the first thing I do in my setup, it shouldn't be a surprise to you. Did you see this? Did you notice this? Right there, boom, it's straight.
Now we're going to take a look at what these players do to strike the ball well. Looking at what the best players in the world do well. The first thing that's most obvious is a straight lead arm. So if you're a right-handed player, the lead arm would be your left arm. This straight left arm also helps with striking the ball solid. If you were to keep the arm straight throughout the entire swing and not shift your head, you're going to have the club strike the ground in the same spot every time. I've shown this a ton on my channel. Contact with the ball is the #1 priority.
The second thing, good impact. Talk about those hands being ahead of the ball at impact. That's what creates that lovely mash right there. Look at ball divot. Oh, that's so pretty. I could look at that all day long. This is almost like presetting impact, isn't it? Lead arm straight, hands ahead. Other thing, my right arm's tucked in. Look at that, impact, right arm's tucked in. So I'm eliminating the impact variables from the setup. Well, we can just check that off the list. I am no longer thinking about that. Thank you, I'll take the cruise ship now. And so just with these variables, I'm not gonna make a huge swing, but just taking out these variables, if I kept this whole relationship right here, and just swung, look at it, it's a divot, it's a ball divot. The sound is, it's everything you want.
Check out these ball strikers. Do you see that? Can you find the pattern? They're all striking the ground in the same spot after the ball. They're all hitting ball first and taking a divot after. This goes for every player in the field at the Masters. What you're seeing here is many different looking golf swings, but the same outcome. You're seeing a ball divot strike. This is something that's fundamental to playing golf well at a high level. If you want to play great golf, you need to learn how to control your contact point. The best players consistently demonstrate this, even if they have a different grip, different stance, different posture, different setup, different takeaway, they all demonstrate that they can hit the ball first and take a divot after every single time.
Another thing to help eliminate variables, we just don't worry about shifting around. You know, you'll see stuff out there. You gotta shift to have more power. Third swing of the day right here. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need to. I mean, I'm gonna take my weight shift out of this swing. I'm just gonna make a full send swing right now. I didn't even shift my weight, and that's the longest ball I've ever hit with this club. Why is that important? Because shifting leads to contact issues. So if you start shifting around, and many of you know this on the channel, if you've been following the channel, you know any little bit of sway, any bit of head movement in any direction is going to change that contact point on the ground. Now, why would we do that? Just cut out the shift, replace it with a rotation, and life is going to be dandy.
Watch these players keeping the weight forward. So as you watch these players swing, you'll notice that the front knee moves more down. This front knee moving more down shows you that there's more weight building up on the front side. You also see that the trail knee is moving up. So for this to happen, the hips are turning on a tilted angle. And when they turn their hips on a tilted angle, this causes the knees to work almost like a balancing act. So you see the front knee moving down and the trail knee moving up. And when you put that front knee down, you are going to have more weight on the front side. It's simply a natural move. If you want the body to work correctly, if you want to get the most power out of the swing along with great contact, keeping the weight forward is essential because it helps you keep your head in place. It helps the body turn more without any work, so that leads to you keeping the lead arm straight without having to force it or feel like you're forcing that arm to straight. So what you get is a very effortless feeling swing that's producing the most consistent contact. And among the best players here, you're seeing no shift off the ball, a head that's in place, a lead arm that's staying straight. And for all of this to happen, it goes back to one central element. And that key element is the weight staying forward all the way throughout the swing.
I just cut out the shift, and everybody says, like you see it everywhere, you can't hit the ball far doing it. I just mashed that club. And did you see the swing speed on that? That was something else, wasn't it? Forgot to aim on that one. All right, so it's a little right because I was aimed a little right. This driver speed is 116.1. And I didn't really feel like I was working that hard. And I had all my weight on the front side. That's wrong. That's wrong. You shouldn't be able to do that. So I focus on staying over the ball. I keep my head in place. I'll just swing my shoulders. And I'm swinging that thing darn tootin' fast. That one actually was, that was 101.3. Look, when I finish, I'm not turning it out. I'm really keeping this back. Oh, this is it, almost it. We almost did it. 119.3. I added another 1 mile per hour, ripping that back. 98 miles an hour again. 99.6. 100.7. 115.8 club speed. And that's another one, 116. 117.9. What? So we've eliminated the variables of impact. We've eliminated the variables of, well, power. We just added a whole bunch more power. Also, look at the turn I got. Holy cow. Whew, I got a full turn even without shifting. So I want you to start thinking about changing the way you view the golf swing. Variables are any form of shifting or breakdown. And most, 99% of lessons, I just gave a lesson to a guy today. And you should have seen, right off the ball, boom, breaks down the arms. goes to the top, breaks down the arms again, hands are up here, and then the club just starts steep down across. But wait a second. I'm gonna eliminate those variables. And our lesson focused on eliminating variables. So here's what we did. Hey, get that lead arm straight, get the arm set correctly, set the weight forward. Now just keep this, don't change it. And so all of a sudden, he swings back. Boom, lead arm straight. Boom, top of backswing position, perfect. Boom, downswing shallow. And he's like, I have been spending years trying to figure out how to fix my over the top problem. And we just did it by changing setup? Yeah, eliminate variables.
So on the left was the old swing. This is what we call classic over the top, very steep. The club's going straight down into the ground. This results in your flipping, you're falling back, your weight going back, hitting behind the ball, thins, shanks. Very frustrating. On the right, though, is him after one practice session, and I'll be telling you what he did in just a second. The club in the yellow is going on a shallower angle to the ball. This allows him to keep his arms straighter through impact, keep the weight forward. Things you need to do to hit the ball crispy, shot after shot. Also, he's preserving a lot more power in his swing. So what's the difference between these two downswings? Well, check out this. If you look at the path of the club on the left versus the right, it's huge. His downswing is going to move the club over the top and steep in the old swing. You see the club head moving over and down. It's a very common issue. 90% of amateur golfers, at least 90%, dealing with this problem. But they need to do the opposite. They need the club to go down this path, the green line to the ball. And this is him 30 minutes later. Different day, next day, working on this one thing that we did in our coaching session. Now, how is it possible? Because I know there's so many golfers out there, and perhaps you're one of them. You know, it's like dealing with over the top. Some people deal with over the top, this move on the left. They deal with this for like 15 years, 5 years, years at a time. It takes years to get rid of it. It seems like it's never going to go away. But how is it possible that Alex fixes this 30 minutes later, basically 30-minute practice session the next day? Well, it's one thing, and it's one of the first broadcasts you saw in the school here. It's the trail arm being tucked in. That's the difference. On the left, his trail arm isn't as tucked in. On the right, he's got his trail arm tucked in. So when we look at this from the front view, it'll make more sense. This is the old Alex on the left, new Alex on the right. We did some setup tweaks, so there's quite a big difference in his setup here. Widened the stance, got the weight forward correctly. Had to set up this unit here, the lowercase y shape. And not only did we do that, we got the trail arm tucked in closer to the middle of his back, or his spine. When he does that, he's going to keep that set throughout the entire golf swing. Will really improve the quality of his ball striking. On the left, he has his elbows together, but he doesn't have that inward-facing right arm. It's more outward-facing. I like to say, get your elbow pit, inner elbow pit facing the camera here. Get that lowercase y shape with that right arm tucked in. And here's what happens. One, he's got a bigger backswing because the right arm's folding, so he gets more wrist hinge. That's just another side benefit. Now let's look at the downswing here. The right arm is straightening early on his old swing. So his right arm getting straight early causes him to have a nearly straight right arm just before hitting the ball. This means he's going to hit the ground behind the ball, or he has to pull his arms in and flip and scoop, as he's doing here. He's hitting shanks, thin shots. Golf is not fun. He was not having a good time with that position there. Now, 30 minutes later, next day, he's got this a little bit more bend in here. And when he gets to just before impact, same positioning. And this is one day. We're still improving this. I want to get his right arm tucked in more. But you need to see the difference in these elbows. It's crazy. Outward facing elbow versus inward facing. And look at all the lag he's got. So his shaft is almost parallel to the ground versus in the old, it's not, doesn't have a chance to be parallel with the ground, so he's going to hit behind the ball.
By the way, this is what's going on in the Saguto.golf online golf school. I've got a free mini course. Check out the link in the description below, go.saguto.golf. It'll It'll show you the top 3 keys you need to be a great ball striker. You need those keys to play great golf. You know, this is some of the pie, but we need to put the whole pie together. All the toppings on that pizza. Okay, so I've just eliminated variables. Tom, why don't you stop talking and hit another ball? Okay, I'll do that. So, eliminated variables, let's do it again. Look at that, ball divot. All this talking to you and ball divot strike. I'm not doing this to show off by any means. No, I desperately want the golfing world to experience that. That's the whole reason this channel exists. What I'm trying to get through to you is that it doesn't require a PhD in biomechanics. It doesn't require thousands of hours of practice. All it requires is that you master the skills of eliminating variables in your swing. And those skills are like 3 things. Does that make it the easiest swing ever? Because these 3 things end up becoming one thing. Watch this. I'm gonna make your swing even easier right now. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I really shouldn't be telling you this. But I really want you to hit the ball well. So, look at this. Variable eliminated, impact set. Okay, that's one, you check it off the list. That swing thought, gone. All right, wait, okay, set. Check that off the list, gone. Now what's the other thing I talked about? Just keeping this. That's the only swing thought I have. And it works every day. I took 3 weeks off, came back, boom. I didn't hit a ball today, came back here, boom. That is where the pie is. It was powerful, it was consistent, and it will happen tomorrow, it will happen the next day, it will happen when I go out 3 p.m. this afternoon and play around with my friends. It's gonna happen.
If I think about the simplest way to make a golf swing, I would keep my head in place, prevent it from moving up or down or side to side. I keep my head in place and I would focus on tilting. And the rest of the swing is going to happen. Keep your head in place, you tilt. What will happen is the weight stays forward, your hips begin turning, the lead arm can stay straight then. A lot of the moves in the golf swing are reactionary moves. So as that front shoulder is moving down, as that head's staying in place, both those moves combine and create a beautiful turn while keeping the relationship to the ball. Then end up with your weight staying forward. You feel the weight staying more forward as you begin to tilt.
Eliminate variables in your swing, and you will experience that time and time again. SagutoGolf is the place where you can learn to eliminate variables. Thousands of golfers all over the world are learning how to eliminate variables and playing the best golf of their life with my training program. So I'll look forward to seeing you there to help you play the best golf of your life.